Good evening and welcome to the September 16th, 2025 meeting of the Spackenkill Union Free School District Board of Education. I'd ask that you rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item 2.01 is comments from the public on consent agenda items only. Do we have any public comments on consent agenda items? Any board discussion on any consent agenda items?
I have questions about 321.7.
Do you want to pull them and then have a discussion and consider them after, or is this,
Any other options?
no, we can do that if you'd like.
So I have two pretty easy questions on it. Just for the 3.17, with the first student on the buses, did they say why it's 50% increase this year?
They just said their overhead costs, their personnel costs, gasoline costs, maintenance of their buses. So just kind of the overall cost to their company that they're just passing on to us as persons as a combined bid with the person.
So they haven't said if they're like getting electric buses in yet, or if that had anything to do with the increase?
They have not formulated a plan on how they're going to do that.
That's the only question I have. And 3.18, I just didn't really know what it is.
That is a service that we subscribe to for Dutchess BOCES, and what it does is it gives BOCES access to our student data to help us manage state reporting, because they have programs that we use to produce the reports that we have to send to state ed regarding enrollment and different categories of students.
Thank you.
Any other board comments, questions? Okay, I'll ask for a motion to accept the consent agenda as prepared. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye, that passes 4-0.
So with that, we had two of our special employees get tenure. Mr. D'Souza, do you want to lead off?
Sure. So it is an honor to stand here tonight on behalf of Danielle Siana as we recognize her for achieving tenure. From the very beginning of her time with us here at Spackenkill, Danielle has been someone who simply says yes. No matter the task, no matter the challenge, she steps forward with a smile and a genuine willingness to help. Her natural intuition to support students is remarkable. She has that rare gift of meeting children exactly where they are, providing the care, patience, and encouragement they need in order to grow. I don't know if she remembers this. I first met her back during the hybrid year while I was still a high school teacher. This is when staffing stretched pretty thin and we were all navigating the challenges of quarantines and uncertainty. And at that time, she was working as a monitor at Hagen. And I'm sure John put out a message saying the high school needs some extra hands with classroom and supervision. And Danielle was probably the first one to say, I'll take it on. Didn't hesitate. She jumped in without question, proving not only her dedication, but her adaptability and her heart for this work. That moment speaks volumes because she's continued to embody this spirit every day since. TAs are the backbone of the work we do in schools. They are the steady support, the quiet strength, and often the unsung heroes in the classroom. Danielle exemplifies all of that and more, even in the face of personal challenges, navigating a cancer diagnosis and enduring treatments. She showed the same resilience and commitment that we've known to be her trademark. As soon as her doctors gave her the green light, she was back with us, never skipping a beat. Her perseverance and positivity through it all inspired us and set an incredible example for students and colleagues alike. Danielle, your hard work, your optimism, your genuine care for kids make you not just an outstanding teaching assistant, but an essential part of the Spanish Hill community. We are grateful for all that you do. It is a privilege to celebrate this well-earned milestone. And she doesn't even realize on Friday night she was in TA mode as the Lynch and D'Souza kids were climbing on the fence at the Spanish Hill football game. And me and Mr. Lynch were not paying attention, but she was, and saved them from probably a injury. So always on task, always ready to help. Congratulations to Danielle Ciana.
Before you go, Mr. Lynch, Danielle, want to come up? Danielle, want to come up? Got this piece.
I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate my position. I love working with the kids. I love being at Hagen. It's amazing. Our staff, everyone. I just really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Braden's ready to for this to be over here, so I'll move through it quick. So Mr. D'Souza left one thing out. So the Lynch and D'Souza kids, they weren't just climbing on a fence; they were climbing on the top row from the top bleacher fence. So thank you. All right, so I'm here to speak about Lauren Iacopelli in recognition for her receiving tenure. And Lauren came to us 3 years ago after previously receiving tenure in a different district, which also happens to be the district that I live in, and my 4 kids go to school there. So just a little background information and a short story that I'd like to begin with. Last year I coached a 6th grade basketball travel CYO team, and after tryouts we realized we had enough talent to split the kids up into 2 squads. But some of the talented players had kind of reputations for being challenges. And so initially we were going to split them up. And then at the end I said, you know what, I'll take them. I'll take those 4 players and let's see where this goes. And it was a rough first few weeks, and we didn't do much dribbling, not much shooting. Long story short, it turned into a great season. So why do I bring up this story? Middle of the season, the students kind of connected that I was a principal in Spackenkill. And a couple of them connected further that then Miss Del Biondo was their former 3rd grade teacher and is now in Spackenkill. And it was on that day that I realized that Mrs. Iacopelli was given all 4 of those high-profile, tough students. Really 4 students that would and should be separated into 4 different classrooms, and according to their parents, have been separated ever since. But instead, her principal trusted her, and 3 years later, as middle schoolers, her former students all glowed about what a wonderful year it was, and how much they learned, and how much they miss her. And if you know middle schoolers, it's not really that cool to talk about glowing and missing people in that environment, so that was really, really special. And in Spackenkill, as we know and you've heard, the bar for tenure is really high. We take pride in hiring and developing, and not everyone makes it. Tenure is earned through many formal and informal observations, clear evidence of student growth, strong family partnerships, and collaborative leadership. Frankly, Lauren has exceeded that standard. Her 2nd grade teammates described her as kind, ambitious, engaging, nurturing, approachable, and caring. She brings perspective and humor to every project and pairs high expectations with genuine warmth. That combination shows up in her classroom, in the hallway, and in every meeting that she attends. Also noteworthy is her leadership in Spack and Kill emerged really early and was formally recognized this year when she was selected to be the grade level chair, really on a team that has several 20-year veterans. I also want to note Lauren's relentless positivity. Whether we're talking about a struggling reader or a student in crisis, she spots assets, not deficits. That mindset is contagious, and it makes us all better. Lauren, thank you for lifting our school and community and for giving our students everything you have. Congratulations on tenure.
Did you get to listen at least?
I think so. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, a little bit shorter than you. Thank you all so much for approving my tenure, and it's been such a pleasure working here. I did love where I worked before in Red Hook so much, and when I was looking to find another home closer to my home, I knew that Spack and Kill was going to be it, and I didn't stop till I made it here, and I'm really happy to continue to be here and now continue to grow my career here. So thank you for believing in me and helping me become the best that I can be. Thank you again.
Thanks to the principals for your words, and thank you to you both for all you do for the district. We're fortunate to have you. We always have these celebrations of tenure and things like that, and they're always such an important part of what makes this community and the school district so great. And we're very fortunate to have you, and thank you for all you do. Anybody else from the board want to chime in?
Congratulations, thank you guys. So,
It's always good.
yep, thank you guys. Get it. Thank you all.
Thank you again.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Oh, nice to see you. See you soon for Bella.
Okay, item 4.01 is first reading of policy 3133, purchasing policy procedure. Any board discussion, or is there a presentation at all? Or basically, I think what's been done, and correct me if I'm wrong, is we had the internal audit, so there were a number of changes to the policy based on that, and then some preliminary input from the board at one point. So if people had a chance to take a look at it. Anybody have any questions or comments? My one comment is with regard to, let's see, it's under section 3 of the request for proposals. The red line shows this now as the district will periodically issue professional service RFPs and may conduct interviews as part of the RFP process. This shall generally be done for any particular profession service no less than 3 and no more than 5 years apart. However, the district may also opt to go to bid at any point if deemed appropriate. I take a little bit of an exception to the at any point if deemed appropriate, only for the fact that that could be interpreted to allow more than 5 years to pass. And I think the spirit and intent of going out to bid for RFPs is to make sure that there's competitive bidding, best cost options for the district, fresh looks on professionals that will assist the district. So I think it would be a little more appropriate if that said something to the effect that the district may also opt to go out to bid in less than 3 years if deemed appropriate.
That's the intent of the comment, so I think it would be a problem.
Yeah, the one section says if deemed appropriate already, so to go to bid basically at any point would be replaced with less than 3 years, or before 3 years if deemed appropriate.
Just make that change, or we need to communicate that? Well, this is the first reading, so the second
Right.
reading will have it correctly.
Okay,
Makes sense.
great. Okay, I would ask for a motion to accept the first reading of policy 3133, purchasing policy procedure as amended.
So,
Do I have a second?
second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's 4-0. Thank you. Okay, that brings us to item 6.01, our district goals, as presented by our superintendent, Dr. Fanrelli.
All right, so over the summer, the administrators, we had a retreat, and then we also had a board retreat, and we looked at some possibilities for the year, and then through both the board retreat and the board meeting before the retreat, and then the administrative retreat, two goals really emerged as things we really wanted to focus on for this year. The first really really deals with what we'll call a needs assessment. And we've heard that term used before. So goal 1, to identify district-wide facilities and programmatic needs to support the district's short and long-term strategic plan. If we look beneath that, create an inventory of repairs, upgrades, enhancements to the district's physical plan to support our current and future instructional needs. And then really what we tried to do is come up with actions that will be completed so the board and the district can see steps that we go through to actually move forward with this specific goal. So in the next 2 slides you'll see 3 slides you'll see some of the action steps that we intend to do and have already started in some cases in order to complete a needs assessment of the district. So I don't necessarily want to read everything to you, but if you kind of look at the bold print there, so building level facilities assessments and program objectives. We're going to work with our staff to really look at the physical plant and the instructional needs. And then also at the district level, we'll be doing the same thing. Already started, I know some principals have already had some meetings in their buildings. We'll do an energy audit, work with the architects and engineers to really look at what we can do energy-wise. And this could lead to a lot of different things, including an EPC and things to really look at how we can save money energy-wise. And then develop a preliminary master inventory using the information from steps that we've just completed or hopefully will complete to really look at all those items that we just talked about, physical program, the DCS, which already was completed, and the energy audit, and then develop a structure to look at all that information and have a committee to look at and then start the process of figuring out what we want to do, how do we prioritize it, to really kind of move on. Then next year we'll be really looking at how are we going to plan to get those items that we deem prioritized. Could lead to a capital project, but we don't want to say that until we actually go through the process and learn what our needs are, what our wants are, and what they might cost, and then figure out the best way to approach that. So that'll be a hefty lift, but I think one that's very necessary. We talked about a lot of different things in the past about needs and wants, and this is something we'll formalize everything, put it all there in clear black and white for us to figure out which ones are most important to us. Goal number 2 deals with a term you probably see everywhere now. It's artificial intelligence, AI. What we really want to do is develop comprehensive AI guidance documents for our district and for our buildings that really will prioritize, those elements there that are listed there in the bullets. We've been doing some work with AI. We've had a great relationship with a person helping us with some PD and develop some stuff, but we really feel it's time now to kind of go to that next level and have things written and have things that are really that will guide us into the future. I do think it could be a living document because AI keeps living and growing as we speak. But this is our goal for this year to really kind of get to this level. So if you look at what's on there, ensures student data privacy. That's a big one. That comes up with a lot of items, the law, the 2D, data privacy. It causes a lot of stoppage in when we try new technology, so we just want to make sure that's a priority. Promotes AI literacy for all stakeholders. Maintains academic integrity and responsible use. That's a major topic, especially at the college level, going down to our secondary levels. Address equity and bias concerns, and prioritizes a human-centered approach. So that's something we definitely wanted to put in there because it's really the human touch that we're actually seeing with some of the research that really makes it important. So AI is not replacing teaching, it's just being used in partnership with it, but it's really the human touch that we feel is needed for instruction to really flourish. How are we going to do that? A bunch of different action steps. First, we really want to work with our buildings, our teachers, to develop, a series of documents that can help guide us. We're looking at a district level, a school level, a classroom level, and then an assessment guide to really help us understand what level this AI program might be in instruction. Is it doing a lot of the thinking? Is it doing part of the thinking? How does that work? That's something that I know John and I have talked about, that schools should really have. It's a really important task. That's a heavy lift to get that, but that's something that we felt should be in there to try to come up with something to really help guide our buildings and our districts through, the AI world. Continuing on, we will work with our administrators and our council to really review, revise any practices that we have currently that has to change because of what AI is doing for that. Including, but doesn't necessarily have to be, we talked about the Ed Law 2D, really making sure that's up to date. And then some of the other stuff you see there. Code of conduct might have to change based on some of our guidance. District administration will provide staff with high quality AI related professional development. We feel this has been very needed because it's just such a new world. I've been part of a PD session for the past couple of years called AI in 30, and it's monthly or bi-monthly, depending upon holidays, and they kind of recap what's new. And the second meeting after the first meeting, what they had already said in the first meeting is sometimes rendered, null and void. So we're trying to keep that current. The summertime, we had some nice AI stuff, and the person we partnered with came in and gave us some with for our teachers as part of our tech week. And then communicate all this information, communicate it out. The buildings will communicate it out to their parents and to students to kind of understand how to appropriately use it. This is a pretty heavy lift, but we feel it's needed and really something that needs to be done. And we have to do it anyway. We have to, maybe not to this level, but we definitely have to address AI as it keeps coming at us. Any questions on either?
Questions, comments, concerns?
I don't have any questions, but just thank you for the administrators and the building administrators for coming up with the board members on this type of meeting, but helping to figure out they look really good. Appreciate the work they're doing.
The team has been great. It's really what we've been focusing on, but we feel good about what came out from it.
Anyone else? I noticed there was a little bit of it was noted by some of the teachers at the open house, let's say, that there was concerns about use of the AI already. So that I believe our teachers have already been thinking about that quite a bit as well. And it does seem timely, the AI piece. The way it's moving, it just seems to be embraced a lot more now. So it feels right. I think it's the right time before we get too far behind it. So I think that's a great goal to put out there, and hopefully that leads us to have policies and other things that are what's best for the district and for our students. And of course, the needs assessment is out there, and that's a good thing as well. I know some of the board members have had questions about some facilities and things like that, so it seems like an appropriate time to work on that as well. So I'm looking forward to hearing the results of all these goals here, and I suspect we'll probably have some mid-year type review on it, and then we'll go from there.
Yes.
Great.
Is that already marked, or will we mark that?
Great. Thank you. Anything else? Okay, 6.02, policy committee discussion.
So we started having a conversation about that last meeting, and then we decided, Jeff not here, right? So we wanted to have input from everyone. I don't know if there's a rush to have it, so we're not looking, there's no first reading or anything today, but just to continue to have a conversation. I'll take a stab at summarizing, and then you want to jump in. So we thought of creating a policy committee. On that committee, the members would rotate. We would have 2 members, and 1 member, well, the first meeting would be different, so we'd have 2 members on it. 1 would rotate off, and 1 would stay for 2 meetings, 2 consecutive meetings, and then someone would rotate on, and then they would stay for 2 consecutive meetings. We probably would try to schedule the meetings and have like a calendar of it, so that people know that, but there might be times when we might need a meeting here or there, depending upon whatever the case would be. I know what else I have some other suggestions, but they haven't been brought up before, so what else?
I think maybe can you just touch on the full makeup of it? Because when you're saying the 2 rotating, that's just with
That's
regard
just
to
for the board. Then there
members.
also
And
would
then
be
there's-
me or a designee would be there. Sandra would be there. And then probably anyone whose expertise would be needed. Lori loves it when I say this, but if there's a special ed type thing, then she would also be present. Human resources, John would be present. Business related, Val would be present. Or one of them present at everything. That's to summarize what we talked about last meeting. I think I hit on everything. Some ideas came up in some of my discussions with some other superintendents. One that I like, and I actually ran it by, is to actually have our attorney present. And this would possibly speed up a lot of the process, because we're there and whatever, say Mr. Kohler is on it, he's like, whoa, what about this? And like, I don't know, I'll have to check with the attorney. I I think that's why we wanted the person to be there for the 2 meetings in a row kind of thing. Having the attorney there might mitigate a lot of that and answer, it might make us more efficient. So I know some boards do that. Our attorneys would be okay with that, but that's something to discuss here. Having the meeting during the day was discussed. That actually might be easier for everyone, but I need the board's input in this. But possibly it could also be virtual. So I never thought of that because they were trying to get rid of that, but I do know that it has been seen as being efficient because Sandra could present something on the board or on the video screen that you're watching wherever you are. So the conversation could actually be a little more focused with that. Doesn't mean we have to do that. It could still be in person, but it's something I thought would be good to discuss. Because then the time of day might be easier. Just keep using Mr. Kohler as an example. He could be at his office, and then, instead of trying to rush to get to whatever time meeting, maybe he could sign on at whatever time, 3 o'clock. And then, might be easier for the board that way, because we were not concerned, but we know that would be, if we start meeting monthly or however often it is, that could run into scheduling problems. So just some things to think about. And we could rotate it. Maybe it's in person 1 month and then virtual another month, depending upon it. But I thought those were things that might be good to discuss with the board and get your ideas on that before we craft a first reading of the policy plan.
You're up. I like the idea of having our attorney, and I'm fine either way, whether they're virtual or they're in person. I do think virtual will probably be easier for just in general. It's easier. I'm fine with either way.
Time of day, would that matter if people knew in advance?
Not for me personally.
I would have to know in advance.
Yeah.
I guess if we set a schedule for how we're gonna rotate, then we can at least understand our different schedules. Is that subject to open meeting stuff, or
Not if we,
everybody is able to attend, or?
so,
Yeah, it is not.
um,
No, I just didn't know for committee, that's all.
We spoke with the attorneys, and she said that it would not, because of the number of board members and the number of us. We would probably, the meetings are able, the minutes are able to be forwardable, and people could look at that. So we'll take, this is fun, we'll take, without the policy committee, we'll take a shot at putting together a policy. The last policy we'll do before the policy committee. But what we have, we'll slow it down, so if there's any question, we could even, it's not like it has to be next meeting, so we'll have a first reading and a second reading, and we'll talk about it. Where we go from there. I would think maybe have a schedule as part, not as part of the policy, but where the board can see that as part of the.
Well, this isn't a policy, it's a policy committee, but it's actually what the board approving is the charter is.
Okay.
So that's what we're doing, so I'll just basically, and I'm good with it all. The only concern that I have is if we're gonna rotate, that's great. I just think we should know ahead of time, before we, say, throughout the year. I think rotating is great, but I think maybe if you do September, October, November, it would be nice to have the same board member, for like maybe 2 meetings or 3, and then rotate after that, instead of doing, that's just a suggestion. Because what if we do a policy and then the next time we meet, another board member, and then you have to just go repeat it all over again? That's my only concern. Definitely like the virtual, which is great. To be honest with you, I think it's going to be easier. Attorney, definitely, that's a plus.
Having the attorney there might lessen the need for the repeat board member for the third time, because I would imagine it could be. But we do have the option to audible, like if we're like, well, Jeff was here for these two, and we have one more, you know, Joanne, will you wait a week and whatever? So like, we could do that. I don't think the policies will go through 3 meetings without being able to be refined with the attorney there. But we can change it, like if it doesn't, if it seems that it's not working. But in some of the other districts, their policy committees, especially if they have the attorney there, sometimes they get it done in that one meeting.
So is it going to be like a rotational on like a monthly rotation, or is it by policy rotation? The reason I ask that is just, you know, do they do 3-4 policies in 1 month, or do you just do 1 a month, or maybe there's only 3 or 4 a year? I'm not really sure how many.
It could be, you could get a month with only 1, and you could get a month with 5, I guess, depending upon what's on the docket. We were really kind of bogged down for a while. I don't know if we're quite at that level now, but I think we probably would have more than 1 per meeting.
And it's not only just new policies, but our policies need to be reviewed on a regular basis. So we'll be looking at existing policies as well.
Sometimes like the oldest ones. This one wasn't revised since whenever. Let's look at that one.
So as of today, Municipal came out with a policy from, I believe, August. So there are policies that have already been updated, but they came out with a new guidance just for like the wording change. So after that, like, we're basically up to date as far as all the policies that are out there. So, like Val said, if there's no policies that are being updated, maybe it is a good idea for us to start, you know, reviewing all the old policies. You know, but that could come later on. But that's something that, you know, has been on our mind for quite a while, because there's old policies out there.
So, like, say me and Sasha went first, would we do like 3 or 4 policies during our turn of it, and then the next time there could be only 1 or 2, and then the time after that there could be 4 or 5, and
One of the things we talked about with the rotation would be the potential that, let's say it was you two that started the first month, one of you would probably just be there for the 1 month. And then that way there's always an overlap.
yeah.
So that, let's say Sasha takes the first 2, then as she's handing off, you know, the next person has 1. And then there's always just a little bit of an overlap there, and then that way we can keep a little bit of continuity going that way.
And also, the thought about if there's no policies that needs to be updated, you know, I think we can start. You know, I don't know where do we start. That's really up to you guys. Start with 0 and go all the way down, or one business
So
first.
we'll deal with this. Look at
Yeah,
the this usually.
yeah, we'll decide that later on.
And then we'll be flexible. There could be a time where, you know, we don't need 1 this month or whatever it is, but there might be time when we need 2 because, you know, we want it, and then we'll just have to. I don't think that would be the norm, but, you know, we have that flexibility.
I think to account for some of the potentials with people's schedules and whether it's life or work or whatever, I think that there's always should be an opportunity for one of the other board members to just jump in for that month if they have availability. So I don't know if that's to be written in what you're thinking.
Like if someone can't make it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I mean, especially if we try to schedule 6, 7, 8 months ahead, you know, God only knows what's going to happen in this time. That time takes
That
some
would, that would make sense. You know, if you can't make it, Jeff would come, or vice versa, or whatever. You gotta find a sub. No, we would work on that. Just let Sandra know.
Anyone else? All right, very good, thank you. Well, that brings us to 6.03. We have elementary and secondary administration update.
Should we go in order?
Who's gonna go first?
Tallest to youngest to oldest? Student-wise.
All right. way.
Yeah, nice save.
So I usually start off with how great the first day was, but only half of our day is great.
Good morning.
So I think most people know we didn't make it a full day, but it really was. Have a lot of people to thank, including some people here, because the early dismissal really impacted the entire district, and it was a wonderful thing seeing people work together. So, we made the best of a tough situation. And other things, just generally speaking, the beginning of the year, it's personally my favorite time of the year, especially at elementary school. It's where really the front-loaded work and the expertise comes into play. Lots of systems, routines are being established while simultaneously, hopefully people are developing really close relationships with their students. So we're off to a great start. A couple other things I thought the board and the community might be interested in. So it is free lunch and free breakfast this year across New York State, and I'm happy. I'm sure at some point we'll hear district numbers, but my preliminary numbers at Nassau is they have about double for both breakfast and lunch, which we think is a really spectacular thing. So. Curriculum night is this Thursday. I think we are the last school to do it. Purposely, we are not. So we've extended the principal portion of curriculum night, and that is to kind of formally introduce the Let Grow project and kind of our plan for this school year, which I know Mr. D'Souza will talk more about, and he's already kicked his off. Mine will kick off the day after curriculum night. But just to touch on the Play Club portion of Let Grow, we sent out our Google form to the community, seeing who would be interested in the club, which will be before school at both Hagen and Nassau. And we have, I'm happy to report, we have a really high number of people who are interested. So we'll work with Doreen and transportation, but that's going to be a really wonderful opportunity for kids. So more to come with that.
So kind of jumping off from there, we had an awesome first day, and the energy and the kids' smiles and just the teachers' energy bringing back was really all positive. We did have our curriculum night last Wednesday, so we were the first to kick it off. And like Mr. Lynch said, we extended our principal portion, which was not long enough apparently because I ran out of time yet again. But we wanted to introduce the Let Grow project in conjunction for our work around the Next Generation last year. The elementary committee really kind of came together around three big things. Play Club, which Mr. Lynch just mentioned, extra recess, which we have implemented out of a 5-day cycle. Kids are getting 30 minutes twice a week in addition to their regular recess. So twice out of the 5-day cycle, they're getting an hour of extra play. Some of it is PE organized, and some of it is just free play with the teacher outside. So we're really excited about that. Heard nothing but positive feedback. We had one kid in the hallway goes, I got extra recess today, and I didn't even need to earn it. So it's really kind of bringing the life and the energy back to the kids. And of course, parents were really kind of excited about that when I introduced that. And then we also kicked off the Let Grow project, which the board got to see in Mrs. Stout's class. So essentially, the homework assignment for the kids is for them to go out and do something on their own. They are to collaborate with their parents to come up with an agreed activity. They're given a list of different things that they can do, everything from pack your own snack to go to the mall by yourself. They're really scaffolded per age. The 5th graders probably get a little more leeway than the 3rd graders. But we're really excited. The kids were buzzing about the things that they were coming up with in terms of their Let Grow project. And then at the end of the month, we'll celebrate that. We have the tree that we've kind of, it's bare in the lobby right now, but at the end of the month, the kids will write on leaves what they did. And hopefully by the end of the year and then end of each month, we'll add leaves and there will be a full tree that grew because our kids grew. So lots of excitement around the work that's been put in and the energy put in. And the parents were really excited about that as well. So nothing but positive energy coming from elementary. All right? Mr. Doherty.
Good evening, everybody. And so the school year started off really well. The school year, of course, starts with, I look at the school year, you know, it ends, starts July 1st, and summer work, you know, so there was lots of teachers who came in, did summer work, did summer grant work, which is an important part of getting ready for the new school year. We had a great new teacher orientation right here, which is always a great event, bringing the new teachers on. We had Tech Fellows the next day, which also was a great event. I forgot the number, but I don't know, it's like, I don't know, if there's like maybe 100 teachers involved, I think there's about 10 who teach it, so it's just a great program. Transportation started off really well this year. Even with Eric's first day, transportation still worked well. Food service is off to a really good start. We shifted our breakfast to a more grab and go, and it's worked out really well. Students are getting into homerooms, so it's worked out really great. Custodians have done a great job of getting the school prepared. You saw this during the walkthrough that you did last week. They did a super job, and the school year started really well. You know, the drop-off pickups going well. Our open day assembly went really good. I got to use a little AI and created. AI. It's really amazing. So really in 5 minutes I created a Todd Middle School welcome back song. On an AI program that I put in Positivity Project, everything, and just plays the song. I mean, it's really amazing. So that's what they heard as they came in, and that went really well. And all the normal things. Sixth graders trying to open up lockers. We did some fresh Chromebooks to the 8th grade the first day of school. We started off. We always start off with a lot of. The P2 kind of goes over some nuts and bolts things like the code of conduct. Cell phone policy has gone very well. I'm not surprised. We've been doing that for a number of years, and it's been great. So it's been going very smooth with the cell phone policy. We've gone over, we always like to go over things like the Dignity Act, DASA, and things like that. We've already kind of gone over those things. Academics are rolling. The AVID program is now in its 4th year, so we've got our 4th cohort, which is pretty amazing. And, grades 7, 8, 9, and 10, and that's going really well. We have a new iReady pilot. iReady's been used in the elementary schools for a number of years now. And we started a math pilot in our AIS, and we want to see how that goes. Teachers have been great. Supporting staff has been great. Tomorrow night is our parent night. We're looking forward to that. But off to a really good year, and it's good to be back. Well, I didn't go anywhere. It's good to have the kids back. Thank you.
How are we all doing? Right. So, Spectacle High School is off to a great start. A lot of positive energy. New administration, Miss Moy and myself working really well together. So well that she gave me some constructive feedback right off the bat. She told me that I have to learn how to land a plane. So I'm going to work on not talking so much. So thank you to Miss Moy for that. You might have heard that at open house when I was on the PA in between every period. So I apologize for this too much. But I want to start off by talking about the summer, giving a public shout out to our custodial staff. I feel like it's very important for me to say that because they really worked hard all summer to do what they did with the building and the way it looks right now. And I'm super happy to be a part of that. And it is the best custodial staff that we've had, at least since I've been here. So just want to shout them out. We've had some new classrooms, and in the board walkthrough, we noticed those too. New classrooms added, some rearranging of the building to make more sense of the programming that we've initiated in the school year. We've tried to block classrooms by subjects as best we can, so there's some consistency there where students are traveling into rooms that have more of a focus on that subject that they're in. We have a teacher resource center now next to the library where teachers can go and students can go for all of their technology needs and resources, toner, that kind of stuff, printers, all centralized up there. On opening day, we always speak to phys ed classes, and Ms. Moy and myself were able to speak to every single phys ed class over the course of 2 days. Essentially, we meet with every student in the building on a more intimate level in those classes rather than just having assemblies. And we talk DASA, talk cell phone policy, and we focus on code of conduct, mainly attire, some of the things that come up throughout the school year. So this year we spoke about DASA over the PA in the morning, really highlighting the law, the regulations, and what the expectation is in the building. And then in the phys ed classes, we reiterated it, but more personally to the students, asking for feedback and questions. As far as code of conduct, cell phones have been great. We've had very minimal issues with any phone usage. Students are following the directives of storing them away. And overall, it's been positive, even if we've had instances where we've had to confiscate phones. The reality is we have to, but it's met with the positive outcomes and understanding. So I have really great things to say about that. I think it's being embraced. Whether everyone likes it or not, we understand the need for it, and it's been effective so far, and I think it will continue that. As far as dress code, we do talk about that too, and what we like to say is we look for students to express themselves. We're in a public school. That is very important, but express themselves in a way that they're able to carry themselves with decency, with dignity, and respect for themselves. So that's what we focus on in those phys ed classes. As far as academics, some of the things that you'll be hearing probably throughout the course of the year, I figured I would highlight right now. Number one, seal of biliteracy. I know Dr. Mulford's been working heavily with that, and our world language department, Ms. Hart, curriculum coordinator, has been at the forefront of that, working with us to ensure that we recognize any students that have mastered a language outside of the English language as they graduate high school, and they'll have recognition on the seal of biliteracy for that. Our goal is to have that piloted this year, so we'll see that at the end of this school year, hopefully with students being recognized for that. We already have the seal of civic readiness. That was Social Studies Department, Ms. Gerard, I believe Dr. Mulford as well, involved with that last year. So that's already in the works. We've had students recognized already for our past graduations, and that'll continue. And AVID, Mr. Doherty mentioned this. It's now carried into the high school, so we have 2 sections of AVID, 9 and 10. We also have John Shanks, who came from the middle school, who has come off as teaching one of the sections, but he's also working in the capacity of an AVID elective, kind of like an AVID advisory position for right now. And I'll give you an example of how that works. Last week, or actually it was Monday. Was it Monday that he came down? Monday he came down to the middle school, checked in with all the classes, checked in with the students and the teachers to support them in what they need. And then today at our faculty meeting, we did an AVID style icebreaker, really group work for the teachers. So we had the teachers come in and group them based on an AVID strategy that Mr. Shank facilitated to show how they can use that in any classroom. So a lot of what AVID is not just the elective. There's a lot of resources that can be used in every classroom that not just the AVID students will benefit from. And that's our goal, to make it an AVID school. And part of how we're doing that is what we did today, introducing it, and we'll be continuing to do that throughout the school year in all of our faculty meetings. As far as community events, we had our senior sunrise. We started that off at this first day of the school year. 5 o'clock in the morning, our seniors went to the field. Thank you to the parents and the community members who donated food and drinks and coffee. It was a really great morning to start off the first day of school, and almost all of our seniors attended it. We have this is Suicide Awareness Month, as well as Hispanic Heritage Month, so we have James's Warriors coming on November 19th for an assembly for our entire school. Just a little blurb from them if you're not familiar with James's Warriors. It's a nonprofit organization that's based out of this area, Dutchess County. Public awareness and education to bring change to the stigma around mental health and ultimately prevent suicide. So that is something we're going to recognize here and acknowledge at the high school and invite them into the building for an assembly on November 19th. For new teachers and staff, I've been focusing, we have 3 new teaching assistants, and there's not a ton of professional development for teaching assistants, and there's such, as Mr. D'Souza mentioned, an important part of what we do every day. They have really demanding roles, so I've made it a point to try to focus on them right now and make sure that they're getting the support that they need as brand new teaching assistants in the classroom. So I've been checking in with them a lot, talking about what they need, what's working, what can be changed, and moving forward, how I can get them more assistance and more professional development as we go throughout the year. And our new staff being trained in our mentoring program has been great. Everything has been smooth at the high school. We conducted a number of drills today. We shifted that last year with the state guidance that we now have to announce our drills, and we've had a lot of conversation about that. So you'll see on Parent Square we announced that last week that we'd be conducting drills. We do like to also keep safety at the forefront and not necessarily announce the exact time that we're doing the drills because we have so many students outside. But we use it as a kind of a training throughout for a whole day. So we do a lot of evacuation drills. We did that today, and then we'll continue conducting holding places and lockdowns throughout the next month or so. But we provide instant feedback. So we do one of the drills, and then we provide feedback on that drill to the building, and we do that throughout the day on timed increments through the periods. So I believe that that's a more effective way to address evacuation drills in particular, and a way to really, by the end of the day, fine-tune what we're doing. And the building was silent in every period, every drill. So really proud of the staff and the students for taking it seriously from the start to the end, because you could assume that by the 5th drill they're not going to, and they do. And it's silent, and they take the feedback that we give and apply it for the next one. So we'll continue with more. We have more evacuation drills and lockdowns and holding places, but that is something that we did know. So we do have, we had our curriculum night, so thank you for everyone that attended. I thought it was great. I thought we made it a point to highlight our public call box that Mr. Romani painted with his students, so that students can come and make phone calls if they need be throughout the day at any time of the day. So that's available to all of them in the main office. And we have football against Monticello Thursday night at 6 o'clock, so I hope to see everybody there.
Was Claire at the sunrise event?
I was.
Of course,
yes.
Oh, wow. It was pretty early, huh?
Yes, it was.
What was it like?
It was fun. There wasn't much of a sunrise. It's just like it just got light outside, but it was so nice.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
You want to add anything about the beginning of the year?
It's been really good. I think that it's like good to jump into things. Obviously it's like stressful at first, but I think we're starting to get, like everyone that I've, like my friends, I think we're starting to get into the flow of things, and things are starting to like go back into the school year. So I think it's going good so far.
Sounds good. Okay, thank you all. Appreciate the updates. Welcome back. 7.01 is board correspondence. We did have a follow-up email from our principal, Mr. Lewis, with regard to a resolution with the parent regarding a technology policy issue that was raised by the parent. So thank you for providing that. 7.02 is comments from the public on non-agenda items. We have any public here right now. So we'll move on to 7.03, comments from the board. The board members.
I'll try to be quick, but I have a couple. The school walkthrough. To share, Richard had, Dr. Verbath had sent out his thanks for the board walkthrough and how great it was. Just to go off of some of the things that add to that of what I experienced during it. I remember working at some schools, and I don't know again if this is just something special to Spakenville that we're able to do these walkthroughs, because I can't imagine a board doing a walkthrough at Arlington or at Spakenville or at Wappinger and having to go through 12, 13 different schools in one day. I think that would be a very long day for them. So if it's something special to us, I think it's great that we have the opportunity to do it. I remember being at one school and speaking with the principal about the walkthroughs, and they're like, yeah, the board does a walkthrough, and they just kind of like pointed some cobwebs and some stairwells that we don't use anymore and say that clock isn't working, and that's about the extent of it. I like ours because it's a real walkthrough. It's during class, we get to see what's going on, we get to see some of the behind the scenes stuff. Some of the schools have students that are escorting us around during it. We can hear the vibe in the hallways, we get to see, go outside and see the playground. Some of the highlights I took away from it, at the high school, the behind the scene meetings that you guys have every week on, just that one small gathering of all the people to make it through the school year, whether it's just planning graduation or it's trying to guide a student throughout the entire year. I thought that you guys having that meeting was really cool. So to be able to see that as a board member and go behind the scenes with it was great. I love the sensory wall at Nassau. I thought that was one of the coolest things I've seen, was that it's actually like jumping out at the wall at you now. That was really cool. At Hagen, seeing the Let It Grow startup of that and going into some of the classrooms and watching what's going on in the classrooms was cool. And at Todd, a couple of things. The gym floor obviously was like the highlight of it all. But that's obvious. You walk in there and you see that beautiful new floor. It was really cool. But to hear the little things that got done over the summer by all the staff and all the faculty and all the maintenance and the workers that may go unnoticed, but to hear what some of those were that we may not have noticed had you not said it, was really cool to see all and hear all the stuff that was going on with it. So I appreciate it. I appreciate all the teachers and the staff in general, but seeing some of the teachers' classrooms and the way that they decorate up their classrooms or they move their classrooms around. I think I saw a French teacher's room, and it looked like that they were in Paris. It was really amazing to change up a classroom like that to make it just more fun for them to want to go into that class and learn. So I appreciate that. I appreciate being able to go on the walkthroughs, the admin, taking their time out of their schedules to walk us through on it. All the board members willing to take their day to take off and go to it. So again, I don't know if it's something special to Spakenville, but it is. I appreciate it. I think that's really cool that we get to do that. The couple of other things that I wanted to bring up. So I know we brought up our food menus and our food, and we're trying to work on that this year. But just to point out what I wouldn't say my issue is, just what I'd like us to try to work on, or what we can do to make it better. Last week our lunch menu was, Monday was mozzarella sticks, Tuesday was cheese quesadillas, Wednesday was mac and cheese, Thursday was cheese pizza, and Friday was toasted cheese. So it was 5 days in a row of just having cheese as I guess that would be our protein for it. Speaking with my kids about it, sometimes they get in by the time their lunch period is starting. The extras, the turkey sandwiches or the salad with grilled chicken, those items might already be gone by the time that they're getting online, and those are the extra items that only peanut butter and jelly might be left at that point. So if we do have those extra abilities or those extra options, it'd be nice that all the students have the ability to get those extra options. I did go through, and I'll give it to the board members afterwards, but I did go through and look at what the other schools are offering on their lunch menus in Dutchess County. One of the things I actually saw that some of the other schools had is a meal viewer. I don't know if we're familiar with it or not, but there's 3 or 4 schools that I found that had it. Pauling, I think Millbrook, possibly Wappingers, where it actually it shows the menu, and then you can go up on the menu for that day. You kind of hover over whatever the meal option is, and it shows you an actual picture of what that meal is going to be for the day, along with all the nutritional facts of what's being offered. So I thought that was kind of cool that they offer that at those schools. One thing that I saw from some of the other schools, they had something, I'm going to mess it up, but it was something about New York-based ingredients. That if we agree to use a certain amount of the New York-based ingredients, 30%, there's some kind of funding that we could get towards using those New York-based ones. Then they're marked in the actual menus of which ones are those New York-based ones, so you know. But a couple of them that really shined out to me were some of the smaller districts, Pine Plains, Weebatuck, especially Pine Plains. The same week that I just went over, the 8th through the 12th in Pine Plains, it was, they had a meatball sub on Monday, a roast beef, smoked mozzarella melt on Monday, Italian green beans, salad bar, and the Hudson Valley Fresh Milk. On Tuesday, they had New York Rodeo Smash Burgers with Chef Mike's Rodeo Sauce, a turkey provolone sandwich, Sidewinder fries, corn and New York black bean salad, and a New York salad bar, New York blueberries with lemon zest. On Wednesday, they had New York Ranch chicken pita, New Jersey falafel pita, rainbow sticks with house-made hummus, a couple of other salad bar options, fresh watermelon. Thursday was New York chicken Alfredo pasta, crispy shrimp po' boys, bread garlic, or Brad's garlic bread. And then Friday was just New York pizza, Cuban style panini, and Hudson fresh barbecue jalapeno cheddar elk sausage sandwich with crispy onions. So that being one of the smaller, more rural districts. Not that I expect to jump right to that kind of stuff, but looking at a lot of the other districts that are surrounding us, I just see them doing a lot more than we are with our menu options. Thursday and Friday, our menu doesn't change. It's the same. It's pizza every Thursday and toasted cheese every Friday. So it's really only Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday that there's a difference in variety of what we're trying to do. So I just like us to continue to try to work on that again. In June, I just asked what the reserve funds would be for the following year and what the amounts were. I was told that might take until September or October to get those numbers, and just saying again, when those are available, I would appreciate if we would be able to see those, what they were that last year, what they went into this year. If possible, even I'd love to see what they were for the past couple of years, of how much reserves we have at the end of each year. I only, lots of reasons to bring that up, but I'll say the taxes only school-wise went up that 1.7%, but I got my taxes, and my taxes went up 5%. I know that's no fault of the districts by any means. There's vacant houses, there's businesses that are closing that, it just has to balance out in the wash with it. But I would like us to at least know what the reserve funds are going to when we have extra money left over at the end of the year. And the last thing was, I know I'm on the safety committee, so I'll probably bring it up there, but I'm still interested in looking more into the Centrojects with the key cards. If it's possible I know they offer free demos for it. It's possible that we can look into having them come, whether it's to a safety committee meeting or having them come to us personally on it. I think we are a district that likes to lead and be some of the first to take on some great initiatives. I think safety is a really important one. I don't want us to be a reactive district, that when something happens around us, that's when we choose to do it. For us being a proactive one, I'm trying to make sure our kids are as safe as can be. Obviously, we can't make it perfect, but let's see what other options are out there that we can make it a little safer. And I guess this is more of a question for the high school and middle school. Actually, all of them really. But when you guys are doing the drills, or Dr. Fingal, I guess you could answer it. When we do the lockdown drills or fire drills or dismissal drills, I've never seen one done during arrival, I'm just saying across the board at any school. I've never seen any school do it. At arrival, during dismissal, whether it's in between classes, and maybe that's not something that is possible to do, just because it's very inconvenient when all the kids are arriving and we're trying to get to class, all of a sudden do a lockdown drill and see how it goes, or same thing during dismissal. But those are times that things can happen, and whether or not we can do a drill during that, or maybe, like I said, maybe just a discussion on how they could be handled. This way everybody does know, the students know, hey, if this happens in between classes, this is the time to do it, or this is where you're going to go to. Or if a fire drill happens in the middle of classes, where are they assembling, or what's happening there. I think it's just something I thought about when you were saying that you had discussions in between of how to make them better. Sorry, that was a lot. That's all I got. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I struggled with this a little bit. I'm quite concerned with, just seeing some of the things we've seen occur in the nation in the last few weeks, the incidents that have happened. Seems like there's a real lack of ability to cope with disagreements in this world right now, in our country. It seems like there's a lack of being able to identify mental health issues. It seems like there's a lack of pure civil discourse, which is, I can't think of anything that's really more American than civil discourse. I look back to Jefferson and Adams and how they were fierce political rivals, but ended up being tremendous friends throughout the rest of their lives as they went through their lives post-political. And it's just so important for us to continue to churn out critical thinkers. And I just want to emphasize that to our administration, our teachers. We need to be able to teach them to think and be critical about it and recognize when other people have disagreements that you can disagree with what they want, but you have to respect that. We can't be doing things that are violent and creating issues that are just not the way to solve things. We need to get back to that. We need to get our youth to make sure that they really have those skills. And I know we've got good programs here at the school with regard to, making sure that we're checking in on mental health for our kids, and P2 with the other people matter is just a great way to make sure that you recognize that other people may have different views, and you should respect that. And you don't have to like it, but you should respect it. And just want to see something better. And I hope that we can continue to do the best we can in order to make sure that our youth are better prepared for life out there, because it seems like there's a lot of stuff going on and just really disheartening for me to see. To piggyback on your discussion about the school visits, tremendous. It was really great to be able to see the kids in action again. Love the fact that we do that as well. Particularly thanks to the administration, teachers that let us intrude in their classes. Our student guides were awesome. Right there. Just a great day. I thought the buildings looked great. To piggyback off of that, I think the cleanliness felt great, felt clean, felt great energy. Just really happy to see it. Just welcome back. Here we go. Right, we're off and running. So that's all I've got. So I'm going to move that on over to us.
Can I actually just say one more thing?
Sure.
I had it written down. I forgot to say it. We also visited the pre-K at Martha Lawrence. That was really cool. That was a lot of fun going over there and seeing the little kids and seeing the way that they're learning over there and how it's collaborating into our district here. It didn't feel like we were going to. It felt like we were going to our own school. It didn't feel like we were going to see a pre-K school. It felt like it was part of Springfield at that point. So thank you for letting us take Bill David, and thank you for Sasha for getting us there.
That's right. Okay, so that brings us to 7:04, comments from the superintendent.
I'm going to try to, I won't speak as long as Mr. Cohen, but he did bring up some stuff that I do want to make sure everyone's aware. So we are going to have a presentation with school lunch. Is that next meeting or it's in October? So I would ask if you bring your data and your questions back to that one. We definitely could pass that along right now, but I think that would be a great forum where just the whole presentation would be centered on that, and that'd be a great time to definitely touch on that. The safety part, wasn't in the presentation, but part of the needs assessment will be a look at our safety facilities and what we might need, the cameras and the card. So that is definitely something that is in the works, during the year to talk about what we have. And I think I even mentioned to John, I think I did, I mentioned to Brett that it's something I want us looking at from the tech aspect. So that'll be coming this year also with that. The concept with the drills, I think that's a great thing to bring up at the safety meeting. I think Officer Dow would speak to that. Ken might have, been thinking of that already when he had his after-school fire drill, not planned. Him and I were meeting, was that yesterday?
Yesterday, yes.
And that was actually good, because we don't normally have that. So, when there's less teacher coverage, but plenty of kids in there. So, not exactly what you're talking about, but one of those, not during class time. So he's ahead of the curve. You knew he was going to talk about that. But no, we should talk about it at the safety meeting, because I know we've had them before, but I don't know how regular they are at dismissal or arrival. Reserve funds, I saw Val taking notes on that, so she'll get that out. And the two things, the pre-K, I'm glad everyone got to see that. And we're really proud of that and really trying to build that into something special. I think it's something different than a lot of districts have, because most districts have the kids spread out all over the place, and you can't really have one district that way. So we're definitely proud of that, the scene. And the walkthrough, I'm glad you mentioned that. So what you described other districts have was what we did here. It was always, it was a summertime. It was before school started. And I used to, I was principal at the high school at the time when we would have them. I used to call them the white glove test, because it was about, how clean it was. So we changed that because I felt, and I think administration felt, that it's better to see what we're doing. And I think it's good because a lot of times, sometimes the board doesn't know what's happening. We're going to try to change that this year and really try to highlight some of the things we do. I think that's why the principals are here, but to have you come in and walk through and see that stuff, that was definitely by design. So I'm glad that was definitely appreciated and noticed, because a lot of times it is the white glove test, which is important too, right? And we passed it, especially at the high school, right? I know Ken was very proud of the white glove test this year, but glad that was noticed. Cell phone has been going well. I just want to shout out to the work the administration did last year. I think to really set that up for this year. Having it be a law, I think is also very helpful. In explaining, to people that it's the law. And then finally, the board got a calendar. And if you look closely at the cover of the calendar, our very own Claire is on the cover. Just coincidental, but shout out to Claire, and shout out to Claire for her walkthrough and her first meeting completed. Nice job, Claire. That was all.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate that. Okay, that brings us to 8.01. The board will vote to adjourn to executive session to discuss the superintendent's evaluation. No further business is anticipated after the executive session. Do I have a motion to enter into executive session? Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Passes 4-0. Thank you, and we'll see you, October 7th?